Okay, today is already it's the middle of March already for 2026. Time just flies. It just flies so fast. It's amazing. Okay, and this journey is I can see the potential, but I haven't made a significant stride yet in my trading, and it's already 2026. Time is flying out. It is, um, it is, but it is in my hands. I have control over how to proceed with this. Okay, so I can now take this opportunity and move vigorously towards becoming profitable or remain stagnant. I have a choice. I have a choice. Okay, I have a choice. I have a choice, and the only so logically thinking is this. Okay, a person is profitable. A person is not profitable. What is the difference between those two? What's the difference? What separates between a person who's consistently profitable and a person who's not consistently profitable? Okay? So splitting hairs, trying to figure this out. And so there's at this point, all I can say is there seems to be, okay, because I am not profitable and I'm moving towards it. There seems to be a requirement. There has to be certain things that need to be checked off in order to be profitable. Okay. So because I don't know somebody who is profitable. Okay, on a consistent basis, and I am unable to sit down with them and figure out how I can steer myself, because the only way for me to move in a profitable direction is for a profitable person, the future me, to look at myself and say, here's what you need to do in order to move in the right direction. Okay? Now, since there isn't a person like that here, and I'm not profitable, so now I gotta really think about it. Okay? Now I gotta really think about what's required, because what's happening is that every year keeps changing. One year after another year after another year, it keeps changing. Okay, time just keeps moving on, and I'm gonna be now. This is my 6th year in trading, and I haven't made any progress yet. Okay, I made an incremental progress, and now what I want to do is I want to move in a direction where I want to finally say to myself that I'm like, I know where I'm gonna go, and I'm rushing towards it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to sit here. I don't want to sit here and expect something to fall in my lap. That's not what I want. See, that's my problem. I gotta go get it. Okay? God helps those who help themselves. Okay? That's the reality. That's the reality of what trading is. That's the reality of what life is. Okay? God helps those who help themselves. Okay? God helps those who help themselves. Okay, it's just very, very simple. God helps those who help themselves. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Okay, so what that means is, if I put the effort in, God is going to help reveal whatever it is that I'm seeking. Okay, that's the reality. Okay, that's what's going to happen. God helps those who help themselves. Okay, let's figure this out. Okay, so it's already out there. All the information is already out there, and so What do I know about trading? Okay, so what do I know about trading? Okay, I'm going back to these things, but so what do I know about trading? Okay, trading is about trading essentially is about putting a risk on with the expectation that my due diligence will allow me to see what will happen in the future, where the future that I see is actually a higher price than when I enter. That's it. That's trading. Okay, that's pure and simple trading. Okay, that's the totality of trading. Okay. So that means that I have to understand the factors that allows me to see, the contributing factors that allows me to see the direction in which price will move into. And once I latch onto that, then I know. Then I have a better idea of what's going to happen. Okay? So that is going to be my edge in trading. So that means that when certain situations occur and the price is not there, then I am unable to make that trade. Firstly, because I haven't assigned a specific statistical number to it, I don't know. Okay? I have an idea. It's a number that is not that has not been statistically generated. It hasn't been generated on a statistical basis. Okay? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a particular situation with all the characteristics, but I haven't specifically assigned a statistical number to it when that happens, because I have to create a scenario surrounding that situation that I can assign a particular statistical number to it. Due to the fact that it is complicated, a person like myself neglected to take care of this for the past 5 years. Okay. Also, the complication of emotion and addiction. These are the things that causes it is an hamper. It is an obstruction to making progress. Okay, so now I finally come to the realization is that trading essentially is I am essentially prone to the frailties of the human frailties. Okay, yeah. All right. So now let's see. So what I'm looking for is a specific scenario where I have an advantage. Okay. So what I'm looking at is essentially what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the situation. I'm looking at the prices moving, and I have several of them that I selected that I'm going to trade in. Okay, and then when I see a particular situation where I find it favorable to me, then I can enter into the trade with the expectation that my choice is going to work itself out. Okay. So when people look at this, I wonder, people who are profitable and people who may not be profitable, but they have an interest in it, and they look at this and go, wow, it should be easy, right? It should be easy. Sure, it should be easy, all right. Okay, so now I'm looking at this. I'm looking at gold right now. And gold, the price has moved to an area where I'm looking to make a breakout trade. Okay, that seems to be right in line with making a breakout trade, because the price made a parabolic move towards the next resistance, and now it's doing something. It's negotiating that area. Currently, the gold price is 51.79. Wow, I actually saw this like about a year ago. Wow. I mean, it was. Look at that. This was like November of 25. It was like 4,003. Wow. It was September 20 of 25, which is essentially about a year ago. and the price was at $3,700. Now it's at 5,000. So it went up about $1,500, which is, it went up 50% in a year. Okay, so now I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the trades to see if I should take. Oh yeah, see, look at the way that it's like breaking out. Wow, yeah. Oh Jesus, look at that, it's breaking out. That would have been a good trade to take right there. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm confirming whether it's a parabolic move, which means that it could drop. See, that's something that I need to be concerned about too. See the way it's. See, look at that. It is going up. It was a parabolic move, and it's moving up. And I would have that trade would have been perfect. Okay. So as Father Time keeps ticking, it is a you know, I'm beginning to see that I am a limited resource. Okay, I am a limited resource. I'm beginning to see that now. I am a limited resource, which means that I have a limited amount of time. And when that time expires, then it's over with. Okay. The best thing that I can do at this stage is to keep working towards it, and keep working towards it. Something is. It's a little sad. It's a little sad. I'm feeling the sadness of the situation. I am literally feeling a little bit sad about this particular situation. I've been working on this for 5 years in my late years of my life, where time is so precious, and I'm not making any progress whatsoever. That's the worst part. I'm not making any progress at all. See, it's a good thing I didn't trade that. Gold was up and it came back down. So I'm now more hesitant about taking a trade. So God helps those who help themselves. So now, how do I need to break this down so I understand it. I am a very simple person. Being a simple person, I like simple answers because I can understand simple solutions. Okay? I needed to see, the only way for me to understand something that's complicated is to break it down into I need to break down the complication into simple things. Okay? I need to break down the complexity, chop it up into simple things, where those simple things merge together, become a complex thing. That's how I solve things. Okay, that's me, because I am not a bright person. Okay? Stupid is, stupid does, right? So that's how that works. That's how I operate. Okay? Because I am definitely not a smart person. Okay, I'm not. Think about it. I go to work at a restaurant and I get abused by a 15-year-old. Where the 15-year-old is abusing me with a cutting board, right? So obviously, to that person, I must look stupid. Obviously, right? I'm a 56-year-old man working at a fast food restaurant as a prep cook. How pathetic does that look? Okay, how does that look? Okay, it's very similar to. Well, I have to be very honest, because I am a homeless person living out of my car, so I can see that people who are like, I can see that. I can see it. I never thought about this. I never thought about this ever. Okay, I never thought about it because it never entered into my consciousness of people who are standing on a corner asking for money. Right? I never thought about it. Okay, I never thought about it. I thought, oh, they need money, I'll give them money, right? They're taking the time to do that, so there was no substance to what they're doing in my thinking. Until now, I see, but now I see that they're in this situation due to whatever reasons that they are, whatever the reason is. They're in that situation. Something has caused them to be in that situation, and they can't help themselves, right? Anyway, so I'm in the current situation. I am a father of 2 kids, but I'll tell you what, life comes at you very hard. One thing after another, it just pounds on you. See, my ex-wife is a great person. It's a very, very great person. I appreciate her for being my partner in creating these 2 kids, and I let her down. Okay, and what happens in life is that when something like that occurs, where I have kids and there's divorce, and especially me, who's not too bright. Okay, not too bright. I'm telling you, not too bright. Things like that, life hardships are very, very catastrophic. It's catastrophic. It is. When somebody's smart, they can deal with it. They can roll with the punches and make it out and be very, very. They're far more resilient than I am. When I fall hard, and it takes me a long time to get up. People who are more resilient, they just pop right back up and go with it. I'm not that kind of a person. When I get knocked down, I get knocked down hard, and it takes me a long time to get back up. Okay, and same story with trading here. I'm trying to switch my career, and so what happens is when things like that occur, for me, it has been this arduous journey. And when life hits me like that, one after another, for how long has it been? It's like my career spans. I graduated in 1994, so 6 plus 26, that's 32 years of bumbling and floundering, failing and everything. I failed at everything. Okay, I failed at everything, and I'm trying to, and after failing for 32 years in my personal life, being a father, being a husband, having a career, taking care of my parents, and losing my eye, busting my ankle, busting my knee, and I'm here somehow. I made it here. Okay, I made it here, and then I am tackling something that is so difficult. Okay? I'm tackling something that may be out of my reach, and I'm going for it. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out this thing, right? This thing. I've failed at everything, and I picked something that is so difficult that 95% of people fail at it, okay? And only 5% make it, okay? Probably only 1% are extremely profitable, but the rest, they're probably prone to certain human characteristics that causes them to fail. Okay, even if they get payouts and things like this, they fail for some reason. But I'm taking on this challenge, even though it's the hardest thing that anybody can do, okay? The reason I'm doing it is because there's no choice. Nobody hires a felon. Okay, nobody hires a convicted felon. Nobody. Okay, except for a Christian restaurant, but they hire practically everybody at that restaurant. Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, but it's already like March, and I'm trying to figure this out. So now I have to really think about this. Really think about what my motivation is now. Okay, so how do I now? What is the solution? I need to think this out. I need to consolidate my thinking figure out what I need to do in order to make that transition. Okay, what do I need to do in order to transition into a profitable trader, right? I need to figure that out. What do I need to do? What do I need to do in order for me to transition? Okay. So, okay, so currently UJ is right at the point where that's support. Okay. So this is a critical point. It might fall right through. The candles are exhibiting that possibly it could fall right through. If I size in, I can see that there is a big gap between the current price and where the next support is. And so if it falls through, it could drop it can move a great deal, but it may not move. So if I were to and the way that I see it is that the way that my thinking is, okay, so it is pointing down, okay, but it doesn't move parabolically all the time. So it moves in a channel, okay? It moves in a channel. And so if I'm thinking that the price is going to move like parabolically, I could be making a mistake here, and mistake can cost. And so my thinking is that, okay, there's one support, second support, third support. Now it's at the fourth one, but the way that the candle is moving is that it could be breached. It could be breached to down here, okay? And I'm looking at UC. UC is holding up its value, which means that EU is trading in a range as well. Now gold peaked up a little bit and then came back down. So I'm looking at what possible trades that I can take. Now in the past, what I did was when the price started to move towards a support area, I automatically thought about, okay, I'm going to go long. Okay, that's what I thought when it hits the support area. But that may not be the prudent thing to do. Now I'm thinking differently now. I'm completely thinking differently about the way that I trade. Okay? Because for the past 5 years, I did the same thing and I kept losing. Okay? Okay, so it looks like It looks like even the Nasdaq futures has climbed up a little bit. It's somewhere in between it broke through and then it's below this resistance area. So I haven't taken a trade yet so far today, because one trade can make a huge difference, obviously. Yeah, one trade can make it or ruin it, definitely. Okay, currently it's about 2 o'clock. I have not made any trade yet. UJ is there. Ready? Okay, I'm gonna get some coffee. Let's get ready to kick it into gear. This is, by the way, my occupation. I heard trading is supposed to be like, I feel like I'm trading even though I'm not ready, because I haven't fully vetted out my setups, all the variability of the setups. I feel like I feel like I'm trading even though I'm not ready. Okay, I feel like I'm trading even though I'm not ready. Right? Which I need to stop. I need to figure this out. I need to think it out. Okay, got some coffee. Got some coffee. What is this? Oh, yeah. See? That was the right trade right there. I saw it. I saw it. Oh. Oh, EU is going up, which is correlate. Oh, even gold is going up. It's showing it. It's moving. It's trending. You see that? You see how it's trending? It is definitely trending. Huh, it is definitely trending. In the past, I would just jump in. Now I'm more hesitant. I am more hesitant. I'm more calculating now. Okay? I'm more cautious about the trades. So if this sucker goes up to here and holds, chances are this could move all the way up there. It's showing that it is. It's showing that it is moving up there. Okay. And, wow. Okay, I'm in. I'm shorting. I could lose big. How much is that? That's about, wow. It's possible I'm gonna lose. But I'm in it. I'm in it. And it looks like, wow. I'm currently in a trade. I'm currently in a losing trade. Yeah, shorts never worked for me. Look at that. Shorts never worked. Shorts never worked. Oh well. So essentially what I did was I shorted UJ, expecting that continuation of the drop because UJ trends quite a bit. When it picks a direction, it goes for quite a while. So even if I'm late, I should have some sort of gain from it. See, when I'm in a trade, I feel very nervous. I'm very, very nervous. Extremely nervous, in fact. Why is that? It's that emotion. Definitely nerve-wracking. Definitely nerve-wracking. Yeah. Well, definitely. Definitely nerve-wracking, all right. Okay. Looks like EU is going up. Looks like there has been a change of sentiment, and direction has swiftly changed. Okay. It looks like the direction has swiftly changed. Currently, why is it? There we go. To start a new recording, stop the current recording and then try again. What? The current recording is stopped. What's going on here? Alright. So, look at that. That's currently UG is at that. Huh, look at that. So UC's down 2. Okay. All right. See, what I'm doing is probably just scalping. All right, and UJ. Oh yeah, I could have made more on that one. I could have made more on it. So, oh yeah, definitely. Look at that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I was right about UJ. I was right about UJ. Okay, I was right about UJ. That could have been much bigger. That could have been much, much bigger. The gain could have been much, much bigger. Much, much bigger. So my direction was correct. So what this is telling me is that the breakout strategy is working. Okay, this is purely a big breakout strategy because I'm more hesitant. I'm more hesitant about taking like soft support, because that soft support, if it's breaking out, then soft support is not working. Soft support is essentially a reversal. But when something is breaking out, it means that the breakout is at a precedence. Okay, that's what it means. Yeah. Okay. So currently, I purchased a 10K challenge with funding pips, and I'm being very, very careful. I'm being extremely careful. I know something about this. What happens is when I am in a drawdown, mentally I flip out and I shut down. It's like I am a robot, and when some emotional thing triggers, the CPU runs like a rampant, and I have to shut myself down. Otherwise, the subconscious mind kicks in and does this. So I'm being very, very careful with my trades, because if it took me 5 years, if it's going to take me 5 years to fail everything, why not take 5 years to pass one instead of trying to pass everything? That's the current mindset right now. So what I would love to do is get to the point where, oh, EG might be really the soft support right there. It looks like EG might be doing the soft support kind of thing right now. It looks like it is. Oh, it's showing characteristics of a soft support EG right now. And now UC seems to be top heavy. It looks like it wants to come back down. It looks like. So the idea, so now, so it is working. It is working. So these two things are working. Okay? These two things are working. As long as I can identify it and take the trade, then it is working properly. The breakout and self-support are working. I just need to fine-tune it. I need to figure out for specific cases of what my entry should be to limit the losses, limit the drawdown. Okay, how do I make it so that I limit my drawdown? Okay, how do I perfect it so that when I enter into the trade, I am more right than wrong? Okay, and then when I'm entering into the trade, how can I ensure that if I do lose, then I lose less? Okay, that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea in perfecting my trades. And so what I can say is this. Okay, what I can say is this: my setups do work. My setups do work. I've proven it right here. I've observed it. I've traded with the demo account. Now I'm using a live account with a 10K that I paid good money for. All right, and hopefully I don't lose it. My mind first, and then I'll start losing it. So hopefully I don't lose that, and I'll make forward progress. Now the funding pips is 8%. Okay, all I have to do is get 8%. All I have to do is get 8%, 5%, and then and everything else is just profit. Okay, so I am a professional. Okay, I am a professional now. I know what I'm doing. I've experienced this. Okay, so it's time. It's time to. There's this LinkedIn. There's this young lady who is also a trader, and she posted this. She posts lots of like trading ideas, and she said, own up to it. Okay, own up to the fact that you're a trader. Okay, declare to the world that you are a trader. Okay, declare to the world that you are a trader. Okay, own up to it. Okay. Live up to the expectation of being a trader. You're not a newbie anymore, okay? You're not a newbie anymore. I can assure you, you're not a newbie anymore. Own up to it, okay? Own up to it. All right? Own up to the fact that you're not a newbie anymore. You have experience. See, I think what truly turning a corner really is. See, people talk about this too. They say, well, if you don't think about trading as like money, then you start to like really start to understand how to trade. That's what some people say. That's one of the things that they say when they became profitable. It's their turning point. Okay, turning the corner. Okay, so as now I'm looking at, for me on a personal level. Now I see that turning the corner on my side. Turning a corner for me is I want to record this because I want to record this to make sure that my thinking is correct. My conclusion is correct, and I document it right now. And what I've noticed about trading is turning a corner for me. Okay, turning the corner for me is when I became conscious that I am. It's like being a Christian. Okay, it's like being a Christian. It says that churches are a hospital for sinners. Okay, everybody's a sinner. Okay, everybody's a sinner. So everybody should go to church. Okay, everybody should. If God has not touched them yet, okay, everybody should go to church. Okay. In fact, I will go to church. Okay, but I need to make this thing work. I need to make sure that I make this thing work. Then I can go to church. Okay. Right now, God wants me to work on this. Okay, make it successful. I get out of that car so I can get into some housing. I need to get into a housing. In order for me to get into housing, I have to make this thing work. Okay, because this is it. Okay, the world has order, law and order, and the world does not allow a convicted felon to take advantage of the system. It's for people who are honest, who have no criminal records, who live by the law, who have behaved in a manner, of course I'm innocent because of those two people framed me, okay, and the system supported them, okay, but the reality is, the idea is for me to, where was I? Okay, so where was I? Okay, I got sidetracked. Okay, so I am not, I am no longer a newbie. I'm not. I've been around the block a few times. I've studied politics. I've studied human behavior. I studied myself. Okay, then I finally became aware. I became aware, and so people say, well, that's turning the corner and things like that. So on a personal level, the reason the I finally realized, for me on a personal level, turning the corner means, okay, I turned a corner, and I know it is when I don't have the full results yet, but I'm seeing some dramatic difference. This is where the dramatic difference occurred, which is me knowing that there are two things that are hampering my progress. Okay, which is turning the corner means like turning and now seeing the eye of the prize. Okay, which is essentially, if I don't see the corner, I'm just going just forever loop. That's what it means. So turning the corner for me is realizing there's addiction and emotion. Okay, those two things, I was not aware of its impact in trading, but now I do. And so knowing that and being weary of that situation, I'm able to. So I finally turned the corner. That right there is when I turned the corner. That is it. Turning the corner means knowing that I'm addicted to gambling, and I have emotions that arises from gambling and trading. Okay, so now that I know about that, then I'm conscious of it, so that I can be weary about it, so that I could do something about it. Okay, so that's the turning the corner. That's my self-assessment of what's going on. Okay, that is the self-assessment of my situation. Okay, and I define that as a point where I have finally turned a corner in my trading. Okay, so then what seems to be so what I need to do is gauge. Okay, I need to gauge now. I need to gauge what has been missing, because when I look at something, I'm thinking, okay, the way that it's moving and the way that it's the way that the candles are painting, and the way the size of the candles now, because I'm a little bit confused about the gains that I will get and the loss that I will get. Okay, so when I look at the situation, I'm saying, okay, so if I'm going to make a trade, I'm looking at EU right now. Okay, I was trying to record it, but so if I look at EU, it's not. Oh, it's recording. What happened to the mic? Okay, the mic is on. Okay. Okay, so I'm currently looking at essentially I'm currently looking at EU right now, and it's actually downtrending. Okay, it's downtrending, and I'm looking at it. I'm trying to see. Okay, so if I put size on there, and if I make a trade here, this movement back is going to add about a per lot. It's going to be $5 per commission, and plus that movement from here to here is going to be costly. Now on the flip side, it has to overcome that commission and then move to the other side where that support is if I were to short it. Okay, now I'm thinking that way. I'm thinking about I'm trying to now what I'm doing is I'm assigning a specific price to each of the critical points of interest. Okay, I'm looking at the currently I know it doesn't make any sense to anybody else, but I'm documenting for me, okay? For posterity, okay? I know it doesn't make any sense, but I'm recording this for my own posterity. I'm recording it. I'm just verbalizing what I'm seeing, okay? So, because what I'm trying to do is, okay, so the movement could be this, movement can be that, movement can be this. So what I need to do is, this should have been already thought about and already calculated. Okay, so if I look at this, it's in a downtrend on a 15-minute, okay, but it has to break through. It has to break above there. It has to break above here in order to say that is finally the trend has changed, okay. Sure, there's a break of structure, but it could be a momentary thing before it picks up. Okay? So, if I look at this, there's definitely a break of structure. That's a break of structure, okay? What it's going to do, even if it doesn't mean that it's going to reverse direction and keep going. If the break of structure occurs, it could be just going sideways. That's another means of. There's three things, okay? Just like quantum physics. There's three states, okay? Not 0 and 1. There's quantum states, okay? The third state, okay? So it could be going up, it could go down, it could go sideways. Those are the three states. So when I look at gold, currently it broke structure. Now it's in a downtrend. For the EG, it essentially has been moving sideways for quite a while. How long? Let's see. It's been going sideways essentially for about 16 hours. It's been going sideways for 16 hours. Okay? Essentially, it has been going sideways for 16 hours, 17 hours. So for UJ, it's been going sideways for 15 hours, which is going to be the same thing for UC as well, most likely. So for UC, it's been in a range for approximately about 9 hours. And because EU is the inverse correlation of it, probably it's the same way. So if I look here, I'm here. That's about 10 hours. It's been moving sideways for 10 hours. The NASDAQ has been climbing for the past 9 hours. Okay? Well, it rounded the bottom for the past 9 hours. Now it's dropping. So for me to be more comfortable about my trading, I have to correctly assign what it's doing. Okay? So for me, it's easy. There's only two setups that I'm using. One of them is, okay, is it a breakout, or is it a soft support? Okay? Soft support can fit into two things: range bound, or truly a breakout is going to occur after establishing a support area. Okay, that's soft support. Now the breakout generally is something that's possibly already in a trend, which has a pullback. Now, when something has a pullback, it fits into the same criteria definition as a break and retest, because when something goes up, pulls back, and then goes up and then breaches it, that's a break and retest right there. Okay, that's a breakout. So I'm seeing that as a breakout. And then if it breaks through a support, okay, or a resistance, that's a breakout. Okay, all right. So the unique characteristics of the soft support is that it touches down and then moves on a reversion trade. That's soft support. That's soft support. And that happens in two locations. One of them is something that has been touching with multiple points of support and moving up, which is a reversion. The other part is when something is in a channel, okay, whether it's skewed or not, or whether it's angled or not, or whether it's flat, it is essentially those two areas will be considered a soft support. I'm redefining it. Okay, I'm putting some clearer as I start to describe in more detail about my setups. Then I'm going to be able to recognize it better and be able to trade it better. I'm going to be able to identify the entry points better as I start to discover my own setups. I'm going to become more aware of how to trade it. Okay, as I trade on a consistent basis, looking for the same thing, then my skill sets will start to improve as my familiarity of those setups become more and more. So essentially, what I'm doing is okay. So I heard about this particular. So it's very similar to martial arts. Okay, I was watching this movie called Office Space. Okay, Office Space. Office Space. This is Office Space. So there's this guy who has this red stapler, and the boss took it away from him. Okay, and that was his final straw. Okay, but the main character is that's Office Space. Why was I talking about that? Okay, so the main character picks up this waitress and says, "Hey, do you like watching kung fu?" And she says, "Yes." Okay. So in kung fu, the person who kicks the same kick 1,000 times is feared versus somebody who kicks 1,000 kicks just once. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice two things. So I would call it. So I would call the soft support essentially I would say, okay, so it's related to, I would say that would be the uppercut. I would call, I'm going to change it now. It's going to be called uppercut. Okay, uppercut. Because I love the way Tyson boxes. Okay, it's going to be uppercut. Why is it uppercut? The price moves in, bounces off, and then boom, right there. That's an uppercut. Uppercut right there. That's an uppercut. Okay, that's boxing language. Then the breakout is kicking. Okay, breakout is like, oh, it's a jab. Okay, it's a jab. Okay, breakout is called a jab. Like it's punching right through. Okay, it's punching right through. It's a jab. Okay, it's punching right through. So I used to work for this. I used to work for this guy. I'm talking crazy. It's coffee. Coffee's doing that. I used to work for a guy. His name is Dave. Okay. He was the kindest guy that I ever met. He was truly a very good guy. He was a very, very good guy, and he knew how to see the other person and then give him respect for the individuality of being that person. Okay, all right. Initially, he wasn't too fond of my being there, but he figured out how hard I worked and saw the results. But he provides so his name was Dave, and he loves boxing. And so one of the side excursions of aside from being an engineer is to talk about boxing, and he loves boxing. He loves boxing. So the analogy is essentially I'm going to change my setups to be more familiar with to be more familiar, and I'm going to call it. It's going to be called a. Is there another for uppercut? Boxing. Another name for uppercut. Another name for uppercut. There isn't. Okay, so that's good. That's no problem. No problem at all. So I'll call it uppercut and a jab. Okay. These are the setups that I will use. Okay, so I'm gonna change my so I'm gonna change it to be more descriptive about it. So it's gonna be yeah, yes. So it's gonna be called an uppercut and a jab. Jab is essentially a breakout. A jab is essentially a breakout. It's a breakout. Okay, uppercut is essentially a support kind of thing, right? Right. Uppercut or jab, right? Jab is the breakout. Jab is like punching through. Okay, jab is punching through. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna change my setups to be a uppercut and a jab. Okay, jab makes more sense because it's a breakout. Jab is a breakout. Okay, so I'm changing too much. I need to stick with it, but I like it. Okay, I don't want to call it like a breakout. I'll call it an uppercut. I'll make it unique. I want to make it personal. I'm gonna make my setups my own and very, very unique. Okay. Okay. So now I've converted. So I'm trading it. See, that's going back up there. See how it dropped and then came back up. So it looks like UJ is in a channel. See, I gotta keep trying these things to figure out how the angles. I heard some people just draw a single line and they trade that. Amazing. They're good. They're good at what they're doing. I have to draw multiple lines to figure out what I'm doing. Right? Yeah. Okay, so currently UJ is going right back up. So it dipped below the support area and is now going back up. UC is breaking out, seriously breaking out. UC is seriously breaking out. See that? UC is breaking out, man. Oh yeah, it's definitely breaking out. Look at that. So it's demonstrating strength in the US dollar, it looks like, right? Right? UC, UJ. And then EU is dropping, which means that the US dollar is strengthening. Essentially that's what it means. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna change my setups. I'm gonna call it something different now. It's gonna be called an uppercut and a jab. Okay, it's a jab. It's a boxing lingo. I want to use the boxing lingo. And see, here's the thing. When I'm currently looking at UJ, and sure, the price has gone up, but I have to ask myself, is it going to keep going up? And how do I know that it's going to keep going up? I'm late to the party. What I don't want to do is the price goes up and I enter and it turns out to be the high ticking. That's something that I don't want to do. The NASDAQ looks like it's retracing. So when something drops, it's got to be at a point where... Oh, am I recording this too? Yeah. I'm recording a lot of things. Anyway, so the turning point is... I'm going to merge those together. Turning point is an uppercut and a jab. Okay? That's my turning point. That is my turning point in trading. uppercut and jab. Well, think about this. I see it this way, okay? I see it this way. Before my mother passed away, she told me this. If she had a chance to live life again, she wanted to, because here's the situation. My father was, I believe he was autistic. He didn't know it. I believe he was autistic. So he, so when somebody's autistic, one of the characteristics of being autistic, I'm just defining it, is that they're unable to socialize on a normal level with regular people. And so they're living inside a walnut shell. Okay? That's how he lived. And so she was unable to reach him. And so she had to do things by herself, like taking care of 3 kids by herself. Okay? And she was placed here in America. Okay, she immigrated here. Okay. Now, now, um, what was I getting at? Okay, what am I trying to say? Okay, so I'm trying to get to the point about turning point. Okay, turning point. Turning point is for me to essentially redefine. That's my turning point. Turning point is essentially knowing that gambling addiction and emotion are a impediment to proper trading. I'm really tired now. Okay, the coffee is wearing off. And now that my setup is now truly personal, because nobody's calling a support trade a uppercut, and nobody's calling a breakout a jab, which I am calling it. Okay. So so she says okay, now I understand. Okay, so she said to me, because she was essentially living alone, okay, taking care of, and she lived essentially because she was normal, but my father was not. And so she had to come to terms with the fact that she was living in this world without gaining traction emotionally with somebody who could coexist, having the same mindset as she did. And she said this. She said, okay. She said, if I had to live again, live life again, that she would spend the rest of her life spending every moment learning. Okay, that's what she said. She said she would dedicate the rest of her life to learn. Okay, that was the most important thing for her. Okay, because that was. That must have been her dream. Okay, that is her dream in life. Because what else would you do? What else would you do for the rest of your life? Which is to spend the rest of your life learning. That was her dream. Okay, that was her dream. So I see it this way. Okay, I see it this way. I'm going to turn 57 in about a month. Okay, I'm going to be 57 years old in about a month. Okay. I'm going to be a 57-year-old man. When I recollect back, I was like, wow, I mean, I can remember when I was 9. I can remember when I first was here, when I was 10 years old, and I would eat a full family-sized bag of potato chips and all the salt that's involved, and my heart rate would be so, I mean, it was pumping blood everywhere, and so I was like bloated everywhere. And the pants that used to fit, it doesn't fit, and things like that, right? And I'm gonna be a 57-year-old man, okay? And I'm in this situation, and God put me in this situation, and ultimately it's all God, right? God is the ultimate. There must be some reason There must be some reason that I'm in this situation. Okay, there must be a reason why, even in the Bible, he put Job in his situation to prove out something. Okay, prove to the world of Job. Okay. Ultimately, in the end, it just turned out. That that Job proved to be a genuine Christian. Okay, who faithfully, to the end, okay, to the end, held on to God. Okay, so there's a CD that I've been listening to. There's a CD that I've been listening to in that I bought. Was it free? I don't know. Was it free? I don't know. Was it free or did I pay money for it? I must have paid money for it. So I was walking out of church, and there was a CD, and this guy recorded about one of the incidents of feudal Japan, and how Christianity, Christians were treated back then. Okay, so back then, now copper is very expensive. Okay, so penny now is approximately 5 to 6 cents in value of the copper. And so what feudal Japan did was they wanted to eradicate Christians. Okay, and so what they did was they melted copper into essentially a coin, a large coin, where somebody could step on it, okay, with the image of Jesus Christ on one side, okay. And so what they did was, because they realized that Christianity was flooding into Japan, they felt that Christianity would destroy them, and so they decided to eradicate Christianity in Japan. So this guy in the CD is describing what happened and back. And so what they used to do in Japan is that they would carry this copper coin that is bigger than somebody's foot, and then they would knock on each door and say, okay, and put the coin on the ground and say, if you do not defy Christ by putting your feet, stomping on that coin of the image of Christ, then we will eradicate you. And what happened is that because many people were Christians, okay, true Christians, okay, why am I talking about this? Because it's my channel. This video is just for me, okay. So what they did was they walk around each of the houses and each of the villages, and they would tell them to put their stomp on Jesus Christ and denounce him. Okay, otherwise it would be their certain death. And so many people died because of that, because they wouldn't do it. Okay, they wouldn't do it. And so what their favorite thing to do is essentially they would hang them upside down. Okay. And then they would have underneath that person with their legs, and they would flip him upside down, and they would slit their neck a little bit so the blood would drip out a little bit, and underneath it would be a ground level of essentially an outhouse with a fermented maggot-filled kind of like a human excrement. Okay. It's not fresh. I mean, it's like it's been fermenting for a while. And so what they would do is they hang them upside down. So this guy was describing about this Christian. Apparently, this young girl who was about 13 years old. Yeah, I think she was like 13 years old. Maybe she's this young girl. Okay, she was a young girl. She held on in recorded history as hanging on the longest. Okay, apparently a priest lasted five days. Okay, but this girl hung on to life and never denounced Christ for 13 days, hanging upside down. Okay, she survived for 13 days hanging upside down over human excrement that's been like baked in the sun, and it's like human excrement underneath, and she survived for 13 days, and she would not denounce him. Okay, she would not, to her death. Okay, this young girl, okay, would not denounce it. Okay, so why am I talking about this? I don't know. Okay, but so my mother told me this. Okay, so she said if I had to live again, I would spend the rest of my life studying, learning. Okay, and so God has put me in this situation. Okay, for a reason. All right, and just like Job did. So so God has put me in this situation where it is very difficult to get a job anywhere else. Okay, He put me in this situation. Okay, but I know that there is a reason for it. Okay, it's given me time. It's given me time to study something that is incredibly difficult. It is from what I've seen so far, what I've observed is that trading is so hard. It is so very difficult. It's very difficult. Even after 5 years, I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where the starting point is because it's that difficult. But it is difficult for me because I realize that I'm not a very bright person. That's making it even worse. Okay, it would be easier for somebody who's smart to figure this out, but for somebody who is not smart, okay, it's even harder. It's harder. So so my ex-wife is a very smart woman. Okay, she's a very smart woman. Her parents, her father used to be a pastor. Okay, so I know that she was raised very well. Okay, she was raised very well. Okay, and I know that. Okay, I know that she was raised very well. Okay, so I know that she's doing whatever she can to make sure that our kids are well taken care of. I know that. I know it. I know it. I know it. I didn't know it in the past. Okay, I didn't know what she was doing. Okay, and I'm not a C. I'm a C student. I'm a C average student. So whenever she tests me, I would fail, and she would look at us. Hey, this guy doesn't care. Okay, I don't test well. Okay, I don't test well, but I will buy a house and give it to you for free. Okay. But I don't test well. Don't test me. Okay. I'm a C average student, so if you test me, I'm gonna fail. I know it. Okay, I work in spurts. Okay, I have an inspiration, and I'll take it, and then elevate it, and then but drop right back down. Right? It's like, okay, so essentially, that's so. So I know that my kids, and they're smart. Okay, they're smart. Because my kids spent time with her, which makes them smart. Okay. If they spent time with me, they wouldn't be too bright. Okay, they wouldn't be. Okay. So what the tendency is this. That the behaviors that I have reinforces certain IQ levels. Okay, and so there's a saying that you want to be hanging around with smarter people. Okay, you don't want to be hanging around with me. Okay, so that's why I don't have too many friends. Okay, I don't have too many friends because people generally wants to hang around with people who are smarter. Okay, that's the idea. So now that the most important things in my life has already been allocated. Okay. So I sent an email. Actually, I sent a message to the current sitting president of the United States because it seems like he really cares about the health of America. And I told him, look, I sent him a message. I said, hey, look, I believe you. Now make America great for my kids. Okay, so he's doing that. All right, he's doing that. So so my kids will be living in a country that will be well taken care of for the rest of their lives. Okay, that's what Trump is going to do. That's what Trump is doing. Okay, so I took care of that. So the life of my kids will be taken care of. And so fortunately, God allowed me to bring them here to Boise where they could get a college degree. So they both have college degrees. Okay, I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. Hopefully, they're doing something well with it. But they have a college degree. Okay, and then and then and then I left them alone. The dumbness, okay? See, if I were to watch the movie Dumb and Dumber multiple times, obviously I'm not going to be very bright. So I'm just going to warn you right now. If you invested like an hour on here skimming through it, just read. So if you spend more time on watching this video, you're going to get dumb, okay? So so what I figure is this, okay? What I figure is this. I know that I'm not a very smart person, okay? So me working as a prep cook is perfectly okay. And I can see why a 15-year-old would stage it so that a cutting board, a large cutting board, if it landed just it could have broken one of my bones or something, right? All right? And so I can see why they would do that, right? I'm going to be 57 years old and I'm working at a fast food restaurant. How much of a loser can I be? Okay. All right. So then I'm here living out of my car. So that's the current situation. But now, so I realized that, I mean, it is paralleling the Bible. Okay, it is paralleling the Bible, and there must be something. So eventually, if I do become profitable, when I start making buku bucks, okay, as soon as I start making money, okay, then I know what I'm going to do because I fear God, and I told God, look, I'm going to be generous, but I can't be generous with something that in my pocket I only have lint in it, okay. So I will get there, but I need time to resolve this, okay? And so it looks like I'm being very selfish and not going to church and all that stuff and not volunteering. I'll tell you what, I need my blood, okay? I gave my blood many years ago, and it literally almost killed me, okay? I see, when you give blood and you're trying to do something very important, it's very difficult to do, okay? It really is, because it drains the blood out of your brain and you can't function right. And it's not for just 1 minute. It's like for a year. It's very difficult to do. So I realized that God had placed me in this situation for the greater good. Okay? So when somebody asks me, eventually when I return to church, and if somebody wants to talk to me about certain situations, about my experiences being a homeless person for many years, I can look them straight in the eye and say, hey, look, I lived that life. I know what you're going through. I know what kind of people live in that situation. I've been in a homeless shelter. I've lived out of my car. I know I've been poor. I missed my kids too. But there is a reason for that. Maybe there will be some good that will come of it. Okay. But when somebody's 15 years old, they don't understand that. Okay, so the idea is trading. God had put me in this situation to trade, and it's very, very hard. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. Even for the smartest people on earth, it's very, very difficult. Okay, they're smart, so they don't do it. They know that it's difficult, right? So I'm now I realized. Now I'm putting all things together, okay? There's Job, my mother, my kids, my ex-wife, me, and the church, and all that stuff, and at a fast food restaurant, and all that stuff, and a couple of 15-year-olds who are like, maybe they should be considered as adults. I think kids grow up a lot faster these days. Anyway, So that's the current situation. So now, this trading is okay. So why am I talking like this? Because I have nothing better to do. I'm just waiting for it. So the idea is for me to, like, I'm perfecting it right now. I'm perfecting my skill set. I'm perfecting the way that so I named it now. I'm gonna keep with it. I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm perfecting the name that I have, which are the two setups that I have, and I'm perfecting as well. I'm making them. I'm evolving them. Okay, I'm evolving the setups that I'm using because it has to match up with what I'm doing. So when I throw an uppercut, I know where the power has to be. Okay, is it a consistent power that I need to when I need to do it? Do I need to shrug my shoulder and things like that? So when I enter into trade, I'm attaching a specific physical movement of how the muscles are and how the thought enters into it to trigger that event to occur, whether it's going to be an uppercut or a jab. I heard that jab is in boxing a very, very powerful thing. Okay, that's what I heard. Okay, I heard jab is like not used often, but it should be used quite a bit because it's very, very effective. It diffuses the power of the other person. Okay, just imagine they're trying to load up and you just jab them. You know, it just puts them off the kilter, right? So that's the current situation. Okay, so now I'm now going to essentially, when I take a trade, there has to be certain things that I need to intricately define, and that's the next wave. When I'm looking around the corner, I'm looking at these setups, and in order for me to understand the setups, I have to describe it in a detail where I can say, okay, so when I see this particular event occur, then it is classified as a uppercut. When I see this thing occurring, it is a jab. Okay? Is it a jab or an uppercut? Jab or uppercut. Okay? Jab and uppercut. Is it a juk? Jab and uppercut. Uppercut. UP. Jup. Is it a jup? I like abbreviations. Okay? Jup. Okay, I'll call it a jup. That's my, it's a 3-letter word. It's jup. Okay, jup. It's jup. So then it gives me an idea of, okay, so this thing has to occur. This certain things needs to occur. And I have to see whether it's going to be worth it. So even if I see it, I have to see, okay, so is it worth it? Should I waste my time? Should I invest time in it? So these are the things that now I can add to these things that I'm doing. And so when it meets those certain criteria as I fine tune it, right? It's like a pitcher and a catcher communicating to figure out what the best pitch is. And the pitcher is shaking, okay? The catcher is like proposing ideas of what to throw, and the pitcher is like tossing it. Because there has to be an interaction between whether the pitcher is prepared to throw heat or throw a curveball, whether it's going to be a sinker or a riser, or whether it's going to be a ball, whether it's something like that, right? So there has to be a coordination, a communication that coordinates to have a mutual meeting of the mind to figure out the intricacies of that particular situation. Okay? So now it's giving me more ideas about what I need to do. Okay, so when a particular trade is made, now I'm expanding upon it. So when I look at something, I have to know what it is. Okay? But to make sure that I know what it is, I have to look at it in totality. And I want to look at as much as possible. Okay? Initially, when I look at it close up, I cannot determine what that thing is. But when I expand upon it, I say, oh, it's an elephant. Then I look through it, looking at the confluences to figure out, oh, it's got big ears, it's got a tusk, it's got a big long nose, it's huge, it's got thick skin, it's got 4 legs, and these dung beetles love this animal. It's called an elephant. Okay, so there has to be certain confluences. So when I look at these confluences to describe what the current situation is, it allows me to expand upon it, to add clarity to it, to define it, to 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 get to a level of understanding where I can say, hey, look, this is the level of sophistication I've achieved. And so when I talk to somebody about this particular thing, there is a level of clarity, a level of sophistication in my setups where the person who has sophistication can appreciate it. Okay, right? Where somebody, so if I had a conversation with a PhD and a matter of thermodynamics, and he's talking about entropy, and I don't know anything about what the heck. Even if I go wiki it, I don't even know what it is. Even if I figure out what that is, I cannot comprehend it. But for somebody who has a PhD in thermodynamics will understand what that means, okay? And plethora of conditions that allows the person to understand, okay? Okay? So trading is very similar to that, okay? Trading is very... You know what squirrels like to do? Squirrels like to do this. They like to take those morsel of very nice nuts and bury it somewhere, okay? This video reminds me of this. Okay, I am a squirrel, and I'm making this video, and I made it very long, but there is a certain sections of it that have little morsels of genius in it. But 99.999% is just Forrest Gump. And then only 0.00001% is genius ideas, okay? So that means that but this is really important, really, okay? So but a person like myself wouldn't spend the first few seconds to like peruse through it, because the importance of trading is this is it. These are the things that I need to know based on my experience. I didn't do this in the past because I would be mired in emotion and gambling addiction that had this very thick walnut shell separating me from understanding what I need to do as a trader. Okay, I didn't do that, and that's why I failed for the past 5 years. But now that I see the clarity of what I need to do as a trader, I'm fine-tuning it. What am I supposed to do? What I need to do? How do I approach it? How do I identify it? How do I have a meaningful conversation with somebody who's been trading for the past 20 years? Okay, so how do I get to that level? So if I practice something, so the whole meaning of that Office Space, that movie where the main character goes to a restaurant and then asks this waitress, says, hey, how would you like to have lunch with me? And then tonight, come over and then we can watch Kung Fu together. And then she was so awestruck, and she loves watching Kung Fu. And she says, yeah. Right? Okay? So that's the whole idea, right? That's the meeting of the mind. It's a level of sophistication that allows them. I don't know why I put that in there, but that is something that it can do. That is something that they can do to understand the complexity of meeting of the mind to make sure that I have evolved into an area. So okay, see, Job did not become Job without crossing the halfway point of what he had to face. Okay, he was plagued with disease. He lost everything. He lost his kids. He lost his wife. He lost his friends. Everybody doubted him. Okay, and he lost everything, even his health. And he was on the brink of death. Okay, he had to experience that. He had to experience to get to the point of finally realizing that what was plaguing me is essentially the addiction and emotion being a very thick wall of the walnut, which is me, from the external world of moving forward. So essentially in trading, at the start line, there's a very thick walnut shell that is at the starting line. Okay, the starting line has a very, very thick walnut shell that's prohibiting people, 95% of people, from starting the race because they're spinning around. It's a very, very thick wall, and that thick wall is made up of the chemical composition of that thick wall of walnut is gambling addiction and emotion. Okay, that is a chemical formula, the chemical compound that makes up that walnut shell that is blocking the entrance into the race of that marathon race to get to the finish line. Okay, so that's the current situation, right? And so now when I'm able to have a conversation with somebody who's been in the space of trading for many, many years, but I have to cross this line, and people make so much deals out of like emotion and things like that. Okay, emotion. Yeah, emotion is important because it does plague me. It does plague me. But the real, true development in trading happens once I defeat the psychological effects of me, and once I finally remove that walnut shell, then I can see clearly and see where I need to go. Where I need to go is to develop that 1,000 kick for each of those things, the jab and the uppercut in my trading, and that's going to propel me to move in the right direction. I believe it. I'm not profitable. I'll say right now, I'm not a profitable person, but based on the fact that I know Jesus Christ exists, I haven't shaken his hand, okay? I haven't. I wasn't there when he was on the cross, okay? I was not there, okay? The only information I have is from the Bible and the experiences of other people. But if I didn't have to shake his hand, okay? I didn't have to shake his hand and say, hey, look, that's him. That's him, right? Okay? On the same line, I'm not profitable, okay? But I know it. I know this is the right path because I can see that incremental progress in this direction is going to make me more familiar with whatever I'm doing, okay? I want to take that jab, okay? I want to take that jab, and I want to take that uppercut, and then move into that direction so that I could be the undisputed. I weigh so much I could probably be in the heavyweights, okay? The lightweights are, what is that, like 190 or something like that? Light heavyweights, cruiserweights, somewhere on there. I think cruiserweights is a little bit heavier than light heavyweights, right? Somewhere on there. Yeah, middleweight and things like that, right? Yeah. Anyway, so if I were to describe it, I'm intricately defining the scenarios now. Now I'm looking at it. What is a jab? What does it take? How do I make a jab? How do I make an uppercut? Okay? How do I make it? Okay? There's a name to it. Okay? There's a name to the specific things that I do. There is a specific name to do whatever I'm doing. But now I need to describe what that is in detail so that I could fit it into, I have a picture of what it does and what the variability is, okay, within a certain situation. If the opponent is 6 foot tall or the opponent is 5 foot tall, if the person is 5'5" tall, then the kicks will be at a different position based on how that works. Or the jab is going to be different. The uppercut is going to be different. How the physical torso is arranged, the uppercut is going to be different. Jab is going to be different. The arrangement, the spacing between my foot and the other person's foot, based on where the ring is, how I'm situated, is going to be different. Okay, and so the jab and the uppercut is going to be different, despite the fact that majority of it is going to be the same. Okay, now it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that I've started. I had no idea. This is the right path to getting there. People talk about, okay, so you have to be like back testing, right? You have to be back testing. In order to back test, you have to know the concrete things that are out there for me to backtest. I have to know all the criteria to backtest. Without knowing the characteristics that I need to use in order to take a trade, then I am unable to backtest because I don't have the enough criteria to define what I'm trying to backtest. So people say it very lightly. And so, well, you got to backtest, but the scenarios will be different. Okay, the variability is there. Okay, so accounting for the variability allows me to make a more accurate, okay, right? It allows me to make a better, okay? So now the real work really works. And so when I talk about the jab is essentially the breakout, okay? The breakout is, so there's various ways of doing it, okay? So if there's a lot of things that I need to consider. Where do I get in? Okay, what candle? Is there a specific candle that I need to get into? Okay, when I draw the support line, when it breaks through, when it first touches on it, how far does it go before I enter into it? So which candle should I get into? Should I wait until it gets to this point? And what's the leg? How much opportunity that I have when it moves? So I'm digging into it. I'm trying to like fine tune the way that the jab is working. Okay, jab is the breakout. Okay. A soft support, the soft support is essentially an uppercut, right? It's an uppercut, right? So now that I'm attempting to address any concerns that I have. Any concerns that I have, it is being addressed. Okay, my kids are doing well. I believe it. My ex-wife is taking care of them really well. Okay. Now what I need to do is take care of me, okay? I need to take care of myself so that I can move into a permanent housing somewhere, okay? I can't be living out of a car, okay? Right next to the highway where there's like gas fumes and things like that. Okay, I need some more coffee. It's currently at 3:20, so now this idea of expounding upon these setups are becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. So I was fortunate enough to sit in front of a pastor, okay, and I was very, very fortunate. He said to me, "This is the greatest moment of your life," and it turned out to be, because he had time to show me, and I had time at that moment to listen. Okay, okay, that's what he said. Okay. What was the main point? I don't know. Okay. But, so now that I'm able to I'm able to remove the fog of what's going on. Okay. Then I can see it. Okay. Now I can see it. The reason why people jump off the buildings while trading is because they're so addicted to gambling, and because they're so entrenched in emotion. They cannot live with themselves. That's why they do that. Because they do something. They did something like take their family fortune and throw it in the market, and they can't get it back. Okay? Trying to get it back even makes it worse. Okay? Do you know why I know? Because I did that. I lost everything. Okay? I even took my mother's $10,000 that she gave me. She thought I could trade. Okay? And she saved being a janitor, making like $2 to $3 an hour, and saved it for like years, okay? And I threw it away, okay? Because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't be honest with myself because I was in the veil of emotion and the gambling addiction that caused me to not see what is so plainly easy to see, okay? For me, on a personal level, the turning point is knowing, okay? Emotion and addiction. I hope I made it clear to myself, and I'm moving in the right direction, okay? The right direction is now to specify my setups to such a familiarity so that I could clump it and go place it right there. Oh, is it working? I can look at here, look, so that I can just instantly recognize it, okay? I'm not going to be looking for anything else, but I want to instantly recognize what I'm seeing so that I can make the trades as fluid as possible, okay? That's the idea.